getting his voice heard on this.
All right, future, and no announcements from the public, then I think Andy had something you wanted
Do
to...
you have my slides? Can you stick those in there? Pull it apart. Okay, so you just go up there to yeah, you go. All right. So this is an idea for the bulb. And the way I understand it, East Bay Parks is never going to take over the bulb until it's made safe.
Wait, Andy, this is
This is an idea that I want to put on the agenda for
Okay.
next, this is just an idea I'm putting forth, and at the end, I'm going to move that we put it on the agenda for next month or 2 months from now. Is that okay?
All right.
I'm
Got it.
not discussion, this is just an idea that I had,
got it.
came from God.
All right.
Okay, so I understand that the East Bay Parks is not going to take over the bulb until it's made safe, and that means removing a lot of debris and then capping it with clay and soil. At least that's the idea. And according to my calculations, that would be about 70,000 cubic yards of new material. So we'd have to remove all the existing vegetation, I think that's the concept, as well as thousands of tons of debris, eradicating everything out there, including the art. That's the way that I think the plan is to make it safe. That additional material is going to compact the existing fill. It's going to increase the level of the leachate, which is going to run out into the bay. And the new capping material is also going to run out into the bay. So could I have the next slide? So here's the idea. The idea is that I'm proposing something like a 40-foot wide trench down to about a foot below the low tide line as an interim solution for this. The trench would be at the limit of the current East Bay Parks land, and it would require about 10,000 cubic yards of material to be excavated. Could put the next slide on. Okay, so the riprap and the clean materials could be placed on the newly isolated bulb. And then the access to this new island would only be by boat, or by, like canoe, or by authorized park motor vessel. Next slide. Okay, so currently we're stuck in this catch-22 situation. Making it safe, turning into something like Cesar Chavez Park, which I think is what people have in mind, is going to cost millions and probably require a bond. Now, I don't think anybody's going to vote for that just so that we can give away what we just paid for. So then there are these other continuing costs that we want to eliminate or mitigate as well, which seems like an intractable problem right now. Look at what's happening out there in the last couple of weeks with the squatters who are out there. That alone, is like a huge and probably endless expense to the city that we don't have a solution for. So I think separating the bulb also seems compatible to the general park general plan to me, because so much of it, if you look at the park general plan, which I have, is designated as conservation area with a great emphasis on bird habitat and seabird roosting sites. This is a way to, if we're interested in having a park out there for other creatures as well as ourselves, this is a way to do it. My main personal argument for this is that regardless of the expense, and I think this would be much cheaper than the full mitigation, which I believe the park district is going to require. What?
I'm just trying, rather than you tell your argument for it, you've got a concept. I'm just trying to...
This is just an idea.
Yeah, I know, it's an interesting idea. You're presenting an agenda item in a unique way that usually people, that rather than say your reasons
Okay, well, how do I get an
think
item
it's-
on the agenda? What's the way to do it?
Then that's what you want to, is this concept.
This is my concept. I want to discuss it at the
Okay.
next meeting.
Right, so don't present your argument, because then
Okay.
then we've already,
Well, I'm just trying to make it of interest to people, so
you know
people
what I'm
will
talking
say, I believe this is a feasible
Okay.
solution, and I believe it's going to be cost-effective, and I would like to have it fully discussed at the next meeting, and I would like to move that we place it on the agenda.
Second.
Okay.
There's a name for it. It's called Isla Albania.
Okay,
There's a history to it.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
all right. there we've got one of our agenda items for next week, or next month.
So there was,
I
I
have-
presume that was, that motion
Yeah.
was approved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all feel fine with discussing it.
I have an agenda item.
Okay?
Parking for the Waterfront Park. And the dedicated, the long-range thinking about dedicated parking for the park. I think we all know that some of the parking has been eliminated down there. It shouldn't have much of an impact on users because of Golden Gate Field's great toleration of people parking there. You know, they've been very kind about letting people park. But over the long run, we need to think about what the parking is going to look like. And I hope we can get that on in December or the next meeting so people can talk about that issue.
So if I can just review what I have for the next meeting then, starting from the beginning of the discussion tonight, the art, the Burrowing Owl Habitat alternative uses, Andy's presentation, and then long-range parking.
So I have a question. So if this, like my idea for the, or this idea for the island, if this is going to be on the agenda, so this is going to be open for public comment and it will appear on the agenda as an agenda item.
Right. And I'd be happy to work with you if you wanted to get some materials out in advance of that, or as part of the agenda going up. If you had something you wanted to have the committee review, we can work on that.
Okay, now, so if we were to have our next meeting, as we discussed, on our bi-monthly meeting would be December 4th, because we will not be having one in January. Is that good for everybody, or do they want to have a November meeting?
December 4th is good for me.
Okay. Okay, December 4th is the next meeting, and I adjourn today's meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.